You meet someone new. Before they say a single word, before you know their name, your brain has already decided something about them. Trustworthy or not. Safe or not. Friend or threat. This happens in under a tenth of a second. Faster than you can blink. Faster than you can think. And the strange part is, you have almost no control over it. You'd like to believe you judge people fairly. You'd like to believe first impressions are something you form carefully, with reason, after a conversation, after evidence. But that is not what happens. What happens is older than language, older than civilization. It is a snap judgment system built by your ancestors, refined over hundreds of thousands of years, running silently underneath every single social interaction you have today. This is the stranger effect. And once you understand it, you will never look at a first impression the same way again. Start with the science. In 2006, psychologists Janine Willis and Alexander Todorov at Princeton University ran an experiment that changed how researchers understood human judgment. They showed participants photographs of unfamiliar faces for just 1/10 of a second. 1/10. Barely enough time to register that a face was even there. Then they asked participants to rate that face on traits like trustworthiness, competence, and attractiveness. The results were unsettling. Given more time to look, participants' judgments barely changed. The snap decision made in a tenth of a second was nearly identical to the decision made after several seconds of deliberate study. Your brain isn't gathering more data when given more time. It already decided. The extra time is just confirmation bias drilled something so fast, so fixed, and so resistant to new information. Think about what your ancestors faced every single day. A stranger approaching your camp was not a neutral event. It could be an ally bringing news. It could be a rival hunting party scouting your territory. It could be someone from a neighboring group seeking to trade, to steal, or to kill. There was no time for careful deliberation. There was no opportunity to gather references, check credentials, or wait and see. The cost of hesitation could be your life. The cost of a wrong guess could be the lives of your entire family. So your brain evolved a shortcut. A fast, crude, but often useful system for sorting people into categories before any real information arrived. Friend or foe, safe or dangerous, trust or suspicion. Researcher Leslie Zebrowitz at Brandeis University has spent decades studying what's called the baby face effect, one of the most well-documented findings in this area. Faces with certain features, larger eyes relative to the face, rounder cheeks, smaller noses, higher eyebrows, are consistently judged as more trustworthy, more honest, even more competent in certain contexts, regardless of the actual person behind the face. These are the same features found on human infants. Your brain is pattern-matching adult strangers against the facial architecture of a helpless baby, and using that match as a proxy for whether they mean you harm. This is not reasoning. This is not evidence. This is a 100,000-year-old heuristic firing on autopilot. Completely indifferent to at Oxford University has studied the natural size of human social groups for decades. His research suggests the human brain evolved to comfortably manage relationships with around 150 people, a number now commonly called Dunbar's number. For nearly all of human history, that was roughly the size of your entire social universe. You knew everyone in your group. Genuine strangers were rare events, not daily occurrences. Today, you encounter more new faces in a single hour of scrolling than your ancestors encountered in years. Every face still triggers the same ancient evaluation system. Every face still gets sorted, in a tenth of a second, into trust or suspicion, safety or threat, even though the system was never built for this volume, this speed, or this scale. This is why strangers can feel exhausting. Why a crowded subway car or a busy city street can leave you quietly depleted, even if nothing dangerous happened. Your brain is running hundreds of ancient threat assessments per day, on faces that pose no actual threat at all, because it has no way of knowing the difference between 150 familiar tribe members and 8 million unfamiliar city dwellers. There is a twist here, though, and it's an important one. The stranger effect is not destiny. Researcher Alexander Todorov's later work, along with studies from social psychologists studying contact theory, found that repeated, structured interaction with people from unfamiliar groups gradually overrides the snap judgment system. The first impression fades in power the more real information accumulates. Your ancient hardware can be updated, slowly, by modern experience. It's just that updating it takes far longer than forming it. A tenth of a second to judge. Sometimes environments where people regularly interact across group lines tend to produce populations with weaker implicit bias over time. Not because human nature changed, because the brain's snap judgment system, faced with enough contradicting evidence, can be slowly retrained. The system is ancient. It is not unchangeable. So the next time you meet someone new and you feel an instant, wordless reaction, a pull toward warmth or a flicker of unease, know what you're actually experiencing. You are not seeing the truth about that person. You are seeing a 100,000-year-old survival algorithm built for a world of small bands and rare encounters, doing its best to keep you alive in a world it was never designed for. That flicker of judgment isn't wisdom. It is an intuition, not in the way you'd like to believe. It is your ancestors, still standing guard at the edge of the firelight, still watching the tree line for movement, still deciding, in less time than it takes to blink, whether the stranger approaching is friend or danger. You meet someone new, and before they say a single word, your ancestors have already spoken for you.